when y'all see me walk past this brother and say world, I'm gonna explain to you what I mean when I say world. Because long before he got famous, I looked at him and I said, he world famous. And he used to laugh and joke about it and all that. And we used to get a kick out of it. Now I say, he said, don't say that. Don't shh. Because it doesn't come to pass. You know what I'm talking about, Captain Tazar Yacht. World famous now. He doing it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's just the captains, but like I said, you got a lot of bad dudes in the building. All right. This next brother, I hope y'all don't mind. Y'all mind I'm running a little bit. Y'all stop me, y'all desire. If you know what I'm saying? I talk now, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get into it. But I'm just trying to warm you up to who you in this building with. You understand and what it is that you dealing with. All right, because these is cats who didn't been under none of the madness out there. COVID, none of it. And this brother, man, came through, struggling in the beginning. Struggling. Trying to do what he had to do for the Most High. But he was sincere. He was sincere and he was building and he was riding. And man, he took the game straight up and cracked Delaware wide open. You know who I'm talking about. Captain Tazaiwan. I mean, did it so lovely in the building. Now, you got new jack captains. I can't see everybody. Y'all all geared up. Headbands and dark sunglasses. You understand? But the ones I can get. And this is a young jack, this dude right here. He came up hard and fast. And everybody was like, I don't know. Then he came on through, forged his way, and been a juggernaut up in here ever since. And that's Captain I ain't got his name right. Napataza. Get it on, Ohio, holding it down. You understand? That brother's another storm coming through and raising up cats too. You understand? And bad cats working with each and every one of them. I don't see too many more captains. I'm missing somebody. Tazak in the beginning, right? Am I missing who else is a captain? Like I said, I was just mentioning the captains, but there's plenty of brothers in it. I got Kahan too, early. I got Mawakwa, the Midwest. You know his name is Midwest Monster of Mayhem. I don't even call him Mawakwa. I call him the Midwest Monster. Say again. Gadal Ha is in the building. Where he at? Huh? He here? Oh man, holding down Cali. I mean, really holding down California. Captain Gadal Ha came on down to hang with us. You understand? And also, I heard you mention that young buck. Been a captain since he was 8 years old, pretty much. Forging and soldiering ever since. General Muhammad's son, man, a real prodigy. Captain Ariel, man, doing it upright. You know what I'm saying? And so big shout out to them. First of all, I want to also say, I don't want to just forget this. Big shout out to you amazing sisters, man, down here in Texas, man. You know what I mean? It ain't, give it up, y'all. Give it up. Give me some now. Come on now. I'm gonna make the whole lecture 30 minutes if I don't get no feedback, I'm gonna be like, yeah, they don't want to hear this, man. We out. Good night. You know what I'm saying? Like, it take a lot to not care and think of yourself and be selfish and to come out and do something for brothers that, sometimes you don't even know. And we starting to see so much of this in all the schools and camps, and Texas have definitely been one of those that have led the way damn near from their inception. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, we want to thank you, sisters, man, in advance, man, for getting down with us. You know what I mean? And doing so much, because you're doing so much. They got the barbecue tomorrow. I know some brothers helping, but you know what I'm saying? My main man doing it up. But I know how hard they work and how hard they work on their spirit. That ain't easy either. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I salute y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I salute you sisters that's dealing with different things with these brothers and getting through the fire with these brothers. You know, you've been really doing it right. You know what I mean? So with that, if I could, give me some footage, man. Give me some footage of them babies coming out them buildings down there in Gaza, man. Look what's happening in the news, fam. Look what's going on. Yes, please, everybody, please have a seat. I'm sorry to keep you on your feet. And if there's anybody that you know, y'all wanted something to drink or something right quick, you know what I mean? Please feel free to tap one of the brothers and tell them to come on through and hook you up. You know what I mean? Same for the brothers, you know what I'm saying? You know, we're not on tight restrictions, Esau restrictions, but we're just trying to flow, you know what I mean? I'll have a little moment at the end. We'll do a little question and answer, and if y'all feeling it, and talk about this, and then we'll talk about, you know, we're going to get to that other lecture later on. So anyway, give me what you got, Dowd. I just need footage. Yeah. Give me the sound. Yeah. I just need the footage. You understand? Where they are outside. Bear with me 1 second now. What, this one ain't working right? It's probably just me. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, give me some of that footage. Now, I want that footage when they was running them ambulances and they was pulling them babies out. What is going on, man? Is the world ending, or is this just another news day in, you know, in society? No, we coming to the end. We rounding the corner to bring this place into utter destruction. Hey, we got some more chairs. We got some brothers and sisters back by the door, looking like they don't have no seats. Let's show them some hospitality, fam. Y'all brothers, y'all go and show them some hospitality, and let's get them some seats. All right. And yeah, you know what I mean? Hook them up, y'all. Hook them up. Bring them all in. Anybody else outside that need to get in, let them get on in here, and we'll hook them up. Y'all give up some seats. Hey, if you worry about your rib or anything like that, don't worry about it, y'all. You in the safest place on the planet. Right here. You know what I mean? U.P.K. The water for coming, y'all. Yeah, y'all grab them seats right there. Anybody else? We good for now? We straight? All right. Let me see some of this footage, y'all. They showing them hospitals, see them babies when they was snatching them out them ambulances, showing them bodies inside them different makeshift morgues. They killing Palestinians wholesale. They've killed over 11,000 Palestinians in less than a week, not less than a month, rather. The killing is in full effect. And this killing is so, here's the message you should be getting from this killing. The message you should be getting from this killing is that your captivity in America is almost over. The message you should be getting from this is that truly, the Lord is real. If you didn't believe in God before, you should know now. We just had a lecture last year in Chicago, said that this was going to happen. And now it's happening. This is God having mercy on you and giving you proof that he exists. Come on, Dawud. Come on, Dawud. Give me that old footage, man, where they had them ambulance coming. They had the bodies, the babies stacked up. They was pulling the bodies out. They were wrapping them in towels. Look at all them ambulances. That's actually a lot better now. They better off. They more organized now. But back when this was jumping off, they was killing like hell. And don't think because you see a little pause going on that changes anything. Anybody too warm in here? Y'all want me to have them turn up the air? All right. No sweat, sis. No sweat. I'll talk to your husband after. Let's turn up the air, y'all. All right. There you go. There you go. This is hell. Look at them bodies all up and down the streets. They bombing the hell out of the Palestinians, which is biblical prophecy, which is exactly what's supposed to happen. and it's continuing. Don't think this little pause. Show you how evil Esau is. This little pause is only because of Thanksgiving. That's the only reason they in this pause, because they know that if Americans have to watch this on the news during Thanksgiving, that they're gonna be mad as hell. To show you how much they know how selfish their people are. They know their people are so selfish that they don't give a damn about the Palestinians being killed or anybody else being killed. They just want to make sure that they have a good Thanksgiving, that they enjoy themselves. But I got bad news for them. They Thanksgivings are going away. Oh, look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. That is absolutely gold, what you seeing right here. And Dawada, give me the footage. Has anybody heard about Ireland? Throw your hand up if you heard about Ireland. Couple sisters, couple brothers. Right now in Ireland, they burning Dublin down to the ground. They're burning up buses. They're burning up cars. They're burning up the place. And I know I might sound a little harsh, like, hey, Yahanna, you kind of callous on this thing. I understand this thing. I understand that those that have robbed and stole across the earth are now going to have to pay for what they've done. Those that stole your identity, those that robbed everything you had, even your land, now has come the time where God is going to punish them. The Palestinians are suffering bad. The Israelis suffered a little bit bad. But nobody has suffered like you. And here's the thing. Nobody cares that you suffer. They care about the Palestinians suffering. The world is in an uproar. You could turn the sound off on it. Oh, I thought it was your sounds. My bad. They care about the Palestinians suffering. And that's a good thing. Like, Palestinians should feel good that there's riots all over the world, that people are protesting by the hundreds of thousands. They should feel uplifted behind that. Even though the Israelis are bombing them into hell, they should feel good. You know why? Because if you get killed as blacks and Latinos in this kingdom, nobody is going to come out in numbers for you. Ain't going to be no hundreds of thousands of people coming out all over the world for you. It took 100 years for the protest when it came to George Floyd to even reach a decent number. The minute this war started for the Palestinians, the whole world went into uproar. The Yemenis declared war on Israel, fired 3 missiles towards Israel, got intercepted by America. And they just, how many of you heard about them confiscating the ship? Y'all heard about that, right? Which means they're going to go to war on them seas. You understand? How many of you heard about the bridge in England being shut down when they was on that bridge? Oh, if I was a Palestinian, I'd feel pretty damn good because I know that the world sees what I'm suffering and what I'm going through. But what about us? What about the Lord's chosen? Would this happen for us? Hell no, it wouldn't happen for us. Would they kill and slaughter us and everybody would say, you know, it was right? When the brothers spoke on the street, big shout out to Meshach Mayan. When the brothers spoke on the street, right? You give it up for Meshach Mayan, y'all. Did a hell of a job. When Meshach Mayan and his team went out on the street in England, and he went to the Palestinians and said, while they were protesting, said, why are you protesting us? We victims like you victims. We suffered like you suffered. They said your suffering was your fault. That's what they said. It's on tape. They say your suffering is your fault. They counted their suffering a real suffering, but they didn't count our suffering a real suffering. And that's 400 years of propaganda. That's 400 years of brainwashing. Oh, yeah, this is it here? Oh, man. Like, see, a warrior would love to see this because this means the end of empires that have ruled and robbed and slaughtered God's chosen people. This is the end of it. We coming around the corner to the end of countries, empires, governments, and guess what? All of it is going to be ruled by Christ. Every last one, every prophecy written of in the Bible is going to come to pass before your eyes. We're going to go into some of them tonight. You understand? Look at that there. Now, for those of you that may not know what happened here, sometimes I don't explain all the way things, but I'm going to show you what happened here. Some man of Arab descent came and killed, supposedly, 2 Irish children. He stabbed them to death, according to Esau. And then a woman came to try to stop him as he bludgeoning these kids, supposedly. She came to try to stop him, and he stabbed her as well. Now, the preliminary information says that the 2 kids died. I don't know if that is the full case, but it was all it took for the Irish to go berserk. They went berserk and tore up Dublin over these white kids being stabbed to death by supposedly an Arab. And once again, here's what it revealed. It revealed 2 things in my eyes. One, it revealed that all this melting pot BS has always been a lie. It has never been, damn right, give it up. There's never been real. They've been shoveling that down our throat and telling us to join the other nations and join the other nations, and none of the other nations, even the Palestinians who suffering themselves, even they don't count your suffering on the same level. You understand? They don't even count it on your level. And the problem with us is we don't love ourselves enough to take it down. We don't love ourselves enough to take the love for them down and the love for us up. Our love should be high. Black people should be in love with each other, with our Latino brothers. Like, nobody came out for the Mexican brothers and sisters. And they were putting their babies in cages. And nobody came out. Nobody loved them enough. U.P.K. did. We did. But nobody cared. And it's also proof that you are the Lord's chosen. And once again, and the second thing I was going to say is, it's proof to us. It's proof to us that we have the prophecies of the Lord. It's proof to us that we have what it takes. Now, let me give you a little history of that land over there. So okay, let me just give you a little bit of the war for those of you that may not know. So what happened is, I think it was November 7th or October 7th or something like that. October 7th, Hamas supposedly went over the wall and attacked the Israelis. Kidnapped a bunch of them, 200 and something of them, killed and slaughtered a bunch of them, and took hostages and all of that, right? The Israelis turned around, supposedly, and retaliated. First of all, me, myself, I don't thoroughly even believe the story that Hamas was able to go over the wall, come in with hang gliders and pickup trucks, and kill thousands of Israelis and kidnap hundreds of them. And the Israeli military, come on, did not know this was happening. Now, I'm going to tell you something else you may not know. The Israelis created Hamas. That's what a lot of people don't know. Hamas wasn't created by itself. The Israelis created Hamas. I'm going to explain that in a second. So now they came over the wall, supposedly kidnapped them, and now the Israelis are in full-fledged, extermination of them. But let's go back. Let me, I just don't want to misstep. I want to stay kind of chronological on what has happened, because I got the history of how we got to this point, and then I got a little history of what is. Let me go back a little bit. Q, give me that article on the history of how we got to this point. Oh, Salakia. What a lot of people don't know is that the entire Israeli nation, the entire Middle East setup that you see over there in Israel was all a creation of the British Empire and of the United States. They created this. The Lord allowed them to create it because he was going to use it to wipe them out off of the face of the earth. He let them create it, but he let them create it because he's about to destroy them. And it all started back in World War I. And then I'm going to get that scripture. I'm going to pull a scripture for you about the bottomless pit. And I'm going to explain that scripture to you. But first, let me show you how this started. Q, read that article for me.
Zionism and Jewish immigration. Theodor Herzl, 1860 to 1904, an Austrian-Hungarian Jew who founded the Zionist movement in 1896, published Der Judenstaat, the Jewish state.
What year? What year?
1896.
So how could they be a Jew when their whole movement started in 1896? Anybody that looks up the history of that land, it belonged to us. It was dark-skinned people in that land. You could pull up footage all over YouTube of what it looked like in the Negev long before any of them got here. Before World War I, there was no nation at all on that land. It was part of what they call the nomad lands or the Bedouins lands. They were all over there. They had different tribal leaders and all of that, but there wasn't no nation with an army running that area. Let's go.
Calling for the establishment of a Jewish state.
So they were already plotting this turn of the century. While everything was going on, they were plotting this. How can we get our own state? How can we get our own nation? I wish we thought like that. I wish we thought like that 300 years ago. I wish we rejected Martin Luther King and all of that nonsense when it came about, because it was all cough medicine to put you to sleep early. Go ahead, Op.
Okay. The following year, he helped convene the First World Zionist Congress.
Go ahead.
Moses Hess and others promoted the idea of the redemption of the soil. The rise of the Zionists, or the rise of Zionism, increased Jewish immigration. The first big wave started in 1881.
So they started coming in, and these are really white people, Europeans, that started now moving down into the land because they plotting this out years ahead of time. We're going to get this land. We're going to take it over. We're going to kill off these Arabs. We're going to wipe that out. And what you're going to find out as I go a little longer, you're going to realize that's what's really going on in Palestine. They just done with the Arabs now. They want them off the land, and there's so much money under that land that they want to get rid of them quickly so that they can go on and get that money. Esau never changes. He's the same thief he was. Thanksgiving, same crap. They killed the Pequot Indians, slaughtered them, burned them inside their houses. That's all that's going on in this earth. You know what's going on in this earth? Everything else is a smokescreen. The only thing going on in this earth is nations slaughtering other nations, enslaving them in captivity, using them, wiping out their religion and identity, and using them for as long as they can, then either killing them off or possibly getting overthrown by them, or maybe in rare cases, giving them a piece of land. It's time for us to wake up. We don't need to be listening to the nonsense we being fed anymore. We got to go serve the gods of our fathers, and we'll be able to see clear. Go ahead, Q.
Come on. The first big wave started in 1881 as Jews fled growing persecution in Russia.
Right, they were being persecuted in Russia. And here's why they was being persecuted in Russia. For the same reason they was being persecuted in Germany. For the same reason they was being persecuted in Austria. For the same reason they were persecuted in all the Arab lands. Because they have an unquenchable greed. They have an unquenchable greed to overthrow. I'm not dismissing the Palestinians either. Don't get it twisted. Them Arabs did a lot of damage to us, including selling our daughters into slavery. Okay, so they got their bill to pay too. Everybody gets to pay the bill. And here's what's beautiful about it. Here's what's so beautiful about it. If you've ever been robbed, or somebody's ever broken into your house, or you ever had a car stolen, you never forget it. It always stays with you. Like you never got justice for what happened. Here's what's so right about the Lord. He's the only one that can give you justice when there is no justice in the world. When there's no way for you to get what you're supposed to get, the Lord got a way. And what you're watching is the way. Remember what the Lord said, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And that's what we're seeing come about in this third world's war. Give me a little more, Q.
After the end of the Ottoman Empire in World War I.
Now, the Ottoman Empire ruled the land of Palestine. They were the main ones there. The Ottomans were Arabs. Okay, some Arabs, some of them were Edomites too, but mainly they were Arabian sheiks. And those cats turned around and ruled that area until World War I, which is so significant in what we're going through. Till World War I. Go ahead, Q. Give me a little more.
The League of Nations, precursor to the United Nations, mandated Palestine to be ruled by the British.
This is your one world order. Way before it became the UN, they were already planning on how they were going to structure the whole world so that Edomites could rule the world, so-called white people, for those of you that may not know. They were already structuring this. Almost over 100 years ago, they were planning this out. So after World War I, and for those of you, I'll make it short because I want to really get to these prophecies. But World War I came about. First of all, there was no world war before World War I. People had wars, skirmishes, battles, but World War I did something different to the world. World War I split the world into two halves, the West and the East. That's why today you hear them referred to as the West, or you hear them referred to it as the East, or the Eastern blocks, or the bloc countries. That came about in World War I. Countries, because of the weaponry and the armies, countries had to take a side. In the past, you got in a war with another country, that was your business. And if that country wanted to overthrow you, when that war finished and you was weakened, they'd come in and invade you. And that's just how it went. But World War I changed that. World War I made them have to think, yo, we can't let this happen, because what if the other side have more weapons than us and overthrows us? And that's when they started to say, yo, we got to come up with United Nations or something like that, where we don't overthrow each other, where we have pacts with one another. And that's how all of the UN came, NATO came, all of that started at that point. And it was significant because what it was the opening of the bottomless pit. The minute those nations took both sides, the bottomless pit was open. I'm going to read it, but let me let Q finish.
Which included Gaza.
Go ahead. Okay. So in other words, they turned around and said, since they won the war, they said, look, we're going to take Palestine and we're going to assign the British Empire to rule over Palestine. But the so-called Jew already had his own plan in to get that nation. Is that the end of it?
Nah, it's got the whole how Britain started the Arab Israelite.
Go ahead, give me a little bit more. Same page, or you had to go to the next page?
No, it's the same page.
Finish me on that page, y'all. Y'all bear with me a little bit. All right.
It says, before this mandate ended in November 1947, under the United Nations, a plan was laid for the Arab-Jewish partition of Palestine, the Gaza and the surrounding area going to the Arabs.
Here's why they had to make a partition. Because the only nation in modern day history to create a nation based on their race are the Israelis. You can go to any nation. You could be from any nation, and you can go to any nation, and you, many cases, can become a citizen of that nation. Very few countries, you can't go there and become a citizen of that country or live unpersecuted. But the Israelis wanted a nation based on their new identity as Jews, our identity. And so now a new kind of nation was born. And the British were trying to hold the land. You go back and look at the old footage, man, they was running in that land, creating more. They were killing British soldiers to try and get there. They were in a frenzy trying to take over this land. Go ahead.
Give me 1 second. All right. The Gaza and the surrounding area going to the Arabs on the day of the British mandate ended on May 15, 1948. The Arab-Israeli war began.
Yeah, they went to war because the Arabs felt violated because the Israelis took the land. And they were like, how y'all gonna just take the land when we assigned it to the British? And they went in there, fought. and all the Arabs came in and they fought. They didn't like the fact that the British was ruling it and dividing it in the first place. But what all of that was the Lord beginning to bring about your freedom in this world. And I know it sounds crazy, being from the hood and being poor and us being on the bottom. To most of us, it seems crazy that God in heaven would care about us as opposed to everybody else. When the Lord said, your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. Like putting us on the bottom, you can do that. But you will never take away the bloodline of blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. They are descendants of those 12 tribes, regardless of what it looks like on top. Give me the bottomless pit, Q, if you could. Give me Revelation 9, 1-6, because I'm going to quantify what I just said in history with a biblical scripture that's going to show you how we went into this thing and what it means going forward. Start at the first verse. Okay.
Revelations 9, verse 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth.
World War I started with the assassination of an ambassador. They assassinated him, and it drove all the nations into this war on both sides. What nation was it? Austria, I believe it was.
Yes, sir. It
was Austria. He got killed, and all the nations started going to war with one another. What that was this pit opening up. This pit was opening up, and it was now going to start the walk towards the Third World War. Read it for you. Reading scriptures as well? Okay, you got it?
Yes, sir. I'm starting Revelations 9 and 1 from the beginning.
Please.
And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
And it said he was given the key of the bottomless pit because by that assassination and that nation falling, it created a pit of war. It created World War I. And now world wars was on the plate. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit.
And the reason it's called a bottomless pit is because this pit started wars that will never end until Christ's kingdom is set up. That's why it's called a bottomless pit, because it started war. And when it said the smoke came out, meaning that flame and smoke and brimstone was wars starting. Wars that was going to be endless and endless until the Third World War. We in 2023. This took place, 1914?
Yes, sir.
1914. Over 100 years ago. This event took place and created World War I, and now we're marching on to World War III. We done been past 2. Now we on our way to 3. You in the greatest time to ever be living on the face of this earth. You about to see some things by the hand of the Lord. You about to see some things. Give me a little more, Q. We're going to take it to 6.
As the smoke of a great furnace.
As the smoke of a great furnace. Meaning a great furnace, a lot of things can be burned in that furnace. And that's what's going to happen. A lot of things. Listen, World War II, I mean, they killed World War I, they killed a ridiculous amount of people. I think it might have been the most, right? World War I? World War II was ridiculous. They dropped that bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On top of everything else, they bombed England into the ground, bombed all those empires. And another one is coming. And let me tell you something. Put on your warrior hat. What the hell you got to worry about? Like, Christ is coming back to bring you out of this empire. You served 400 years. You served so much slavery in this kingdom and across these aisles that you done got so comfortable, you don't even really feel like you a slave no more. You like, these stories sound like fire and brimstone to our people. It's like, what you mean? What you mean God gonna kill everybody? What you mean? When you should be like, yes, let's get it on. Let's get free from these people. Let's let our laws rule among us. Every other nation does it. This same Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I know I'm jumping in, ain't gonna drag, y'all. Thanksgiving became famous because of the Puritans who were Christians. Christians during the time of King James, by the way, they were Christians, but they were like what they call Puritans, meaning they got away from the Roman Catholic way of Christianity. They didn't want nothing to do with the Catholic Church. They didn't want to be ruled by the Roman Catholic Church. King James was fighting against the Roman Catholic Church. Everybody was fighting the Roman Church back then. But they still came over here with Christianity and still slaughtered our people like it was nothing. Only that, the Thanksgiving celebration originally was based off of our high holy day of gathering in the fruit. They were trying to copy it, but like a bloody beast, even if you give them our laws, you're going to have to put a chain on them for them to act the way they're supposed to act. But I divert. I don't want to divert on it. Come on with it, Q.
And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
Right. The sun and the air were darkened. If you lose the light and the ability to breathe, what happens to you? You in confusion now. You can't, how do you go? You coughing. You can't see where you're going. It's a slow, horrible death. And that's what's happening to us. That's what happened from World War I and has been happening to us ever since. Give me some more, Q. Take me to 6, all the way, walk it down to 6.
Verse 3, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
And those locusts represent armies, soldiers, weapons, tanks, planes. Go ahead.
And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power.
Like, what power does a scorpion have? Anybody? To sting you. And what happens when he stings you? It hurts like hell. Yeah, and in some cases, it'll kill you. It's the right scorpions. Say again? Yeah, you definitely going to, you're going to stop. You're going to think about that sting. Well, that's what those armies were given the power to do in World War I. Read on.
Verse 4, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree. Who was the grass of the earth back then? We were the grass of the earth. The turn of the century, we had just got out of so-called slavery on paper. They still had us in slavery in many places around the world. And even in the United States, they had secret slave camps underground. Philadelphia was one of them, right or wrong. Girard College you can go down underneath Girard College right now. They got the slave cages underneath the college where the slaves had to wrap the pipes with fabric and sew them by hand to keep it going. We had to become smiths and build our own cages to be locked in and our own locks to be put in. Hold your peace for a second. I'm going to open it up at the end because I know I'm going to lose y'all if I don't keep on going. You know what I'm saying? I want to really get all of it out, and then I'm going to let y'all jump in. Go ahead, Q. But only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads.
Come, plug me in. I think I'm not running. But read it again. Yeah, those that did not have the seal, meaning those from the other nations, those among us that turned our back on the Lord, they got caught up in World War I. Black men thought that they were going to be so beloved after World War I. They joined the military, put that uniform on, thought we was going to be beloved. We came back from World War I. White people was pulling us off the train, splitting our heads open, killing us, lynching us. Imagine that. You go fight in World War I, the same in World War II. You go fight in World War I, come back and get lynched in America. Damn. They hated us so much, they didn't even want us to fight for them. That's how much they hated us. And this nature is the nature of the beast. This is the nature of this man. This ain't no special thing. This is how he is. That's what's going on with the Palestinians. That's the same Edomite over there. And he's going to bomb that place into the Stone Age if he can. He wants off the land, just like they wanted us off the land during the time of the Pequot Indians when they burned us down in our own houses, in our own religious centers. Give me some more.
Verse 5, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months.
So for a period of time, we were tormented with our racism, with all the evil that we did. And they were really tormented for those 5 months. That's dispensation of time. That's not a hard number. 6Q.
And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man.
Right. It was a torment, meaning you constantly in wars, constantly in battles, constantly getting killed, constantly losing people. Plague. All the plagues started coming out at that time. That was all part of this plan to wipe out all these nations on this earth. They rebuilt again and they came back. Keep going, Q. Give me
verse
6.
Verse 6. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it.
And there was much suicide back then. You hear about it even now, right or wrong. Tons of brothers come back from them wars, fighting for Esau, kill themselves. Women too, sisters too. It's all over YouTube. They tell you they have stories and they look horrible and they talking about horrific things. And many of them kill themselves after they tell the story, because this is all a part of bringing this empire down. That's the end of 6, so you got more. Q.
And shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them.
Right, they're going to desire to die, but death shall flee from them. Okay, that's how we started in World War I. Matter of fact, if you could give me real quick, Revelation, what am I looking for? Revelation 11, I think it is, just to bring the one woe, two woes past, one woe past, two to come, just to clarify that. So what we're seeing over there is the Lord's doing. Here's what happened. In 1978, the Israelis, and show you how ironic the Lord is, the Israelis were digging for oil and natural gas. And they looked all over the country and they couldn't find no oil or natural gas except in one place, in Gaza. The one place they didn't have. So they got this whole country, they ruling now. They got nuclear weapons, but the oil is in Gaza. And it's off the coasts in Gaza. They found 1.7 billion gallons of oil in Gaza. None in the land ruled by the Israelis. They went digging even further and found 100 billion metric tons of natural gas. Guess where they found that at? Gaza. None in the rest of the country. They decided back then, we're going to get rid of the Palestinians. We about to run them off the land. It was too much money. Exxon Mobil, United States, all these countries were already set up to put rigs off of the coast of Gaza and start pulling that oil up and bringing that gas up. And here's why else it was so important to them. Because if the Israelis get the power to draw their own oil and natural gas, what won't they need? They won't need the Arabs anymore. They won't have to buy oil from Egypt no more. They won't have to rely on anybody no more. They won't even have to kiss the United States ass. They'll have enough oil and gas to rule their own nation, take over whoever they want. And nobody expected that until 1978. They gave them bombs before 78, thinking they was going to need them bombs just as a deterrent for all the Arab nations around them. They slept on the fact that if they were to find some oil, they won't need the United States anymore. So the United States is chumming up to them real good now. That's why you see they didn't stop them. They stopped them for Thanksgiving, though. They made sure the turkey was good. Wait till next week. Wait till next week. The bombing about to start again. Okay? So they found that natural gas in there, right? And they knew they had to get rid of the Palestinians. And they came up with another plan. They said, what if we cut a canal through Gaza? And with that canal, we will now compete against the Suez Canal. And they said, well, what do we got to do? Well, they said the first thing you got to do is you got to clear the land. You got to get rid of the Palestinians. So now they got two major reasons, really three major reasons to get rid of the Palestinians. Why is this happening? The Lord is bringing them to the Third World War. He's bringing them. He's dragging them, like he said in Joel, the 3rd chapter. He's dragging them to plead with them to come down into this valley because he's going to wipe them out. So now the plan started for them to go ahead and start bringing in the Third World War. You got Revelation 11 for me? Somebody, whoever got it.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 7.
Is it 7, Q? Go ahead, read it out. I think I'm looking for 14. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just give me the 14th verse if you could.
Come. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Okay. Up above it, I believe it says the first woe is past, and 2 more come quickly, unless I'm missing it in Revelation. Say again. Same chapter. What verse? Give me the verse. So now, at that point, I think you're up to the second woe. But give me the first woe. It's important for you to know that this is the Lord, 12 verse, the water. It's important for you to know that this unfolding is biblical prophecy, man. Your life is about to change. When the scripture says, lay up thy folly ground, the Lord is not joking. You got to clean up your spirit now, because tomorrow might be too late. We done got away so long with doing the evils that we do that we don't even think nothing can come back. But it's happening in front of your eyes. You getting a warning like ever before. And let me tell you something. If you understood what is happening, brother, you drop on your knees and be saying, Lord, forgive me my sins so I can be your servant. That's what you'd be saying, because you'd realize what greatness he gave to you. Read it for me, Op.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
There you go. The one woe is what we just broke down. 2 more come after that. We know World War II is past. World War III is guaranteed. It's guaranteed we're going to go into World War III. It ain't no question no more. He's showing it to us before our eyes. You got to make a transformation, and quick. And I'm going to tell you why. Because all these 12 tribes are about to fall in your lap. They're about to fall in your lap. This world is about to get shifted into another zone, and death is going to be everywhere. How many of y'all heard of the BRICS? The BRICS finance. You know that's coming. If the BRICS go online, the American dollar will be cut in half. So if you're paying, what's a loaf of bread cost? It'll be 10 or 12 when that comes online. Gas bills about what right now in the crib? Huh? 200? Look at 450. Look at 450. How much is gas in the car? You wondering why America running to get them electric cars? How much? Let's say 625. Probably put us right where we need to be. 625 for gas. And when's the last time we got wage increase? Okay, then. Don't nobody even know what year it was. You know what I mean? You got what was the last time minimum wage got raised? Never. Hell, damn near. But meanwhile, these prices about to jump up, and it's about to go where it's supposed to go, where it's supposed to go, which is the fall of these empires. And the Lord is pouring into you something special. First of all, he's taking these officers. I'm diverting just for a second. Y'all stop me. He's taking these officers and raising them up and raising these amazing sisters up, and he giving them a new spirit. And this new spirit that we getting is for this job. It may not look like it, but go back and read the scriptures, brothers and sisters. How many times did the Lord take a small number of men and women and change our entire existence? The Lord don't like, he want the glory. He don't, man, damn right, give it up. So right. Like he wants the glory. He don't want you getting the glory or somebody else getting the glory. He's going to work with a small number and do something miraculously amazing. And you're going to see it. It was, in my eyes, it was already miraculous that you found the truth. It's like, I can't believe that I've found the truth, And I'm looking at brothers and sisters that are dressed like people from the ancient world. I can't even believe it. But it happened. It happened. And from everywhere, just like he said, one in the city, two in the field, he's going to bring them together. Now is the time to have faith unquestioned. When you was smoking that crack, you had plenty of faith in that hit. You knew if it said blue top, it was on. You was going to be smoked out for at least 6 hours. You ain't question it. You ain't say nothing. When that weed came and you cracked open that bag and that bud was fat and smelling good, you know, fat with it, you know the kind where you squeeze it, it crunch. that good Colombian gold. Listen, I had a brass pipe, brother. I still see it in my dreams. I kept that brass pipe shiny. I thought it smoked sometimes. You had confidence in that. Now you got to put your faith in the Most High. You got to be, like the scripture said, we walk not by sight. It's time for that is over. Time for time for you using your own analytical mind to carry this out. Them days going away because you ain't gonna be able to. You're not gonna you're gonna be overwhelmed by what you see in front of you as this place starts. Wait till the riots start. The Arabs about to tear shop up. And listen, you think they bad? You think them Arabs is terrorists and they bad? Wait till the so-called Jews start. You're gonna really see a terrorist. Wait till this so-called Jew get to killing and slaughtering against the Arabs and anybody else. Then you're going to see some real killing. It's going to be a mess, but a beautiful mess. A beautiful mess that's bringing us to where we got to be. One woe is past. Behold, two woes come quickly. Coming around the corner. You can stop right there. I'm going to stop you right there, right?
Okay.
I'm going to go a little further on what we're doing. All right? Y'all bear with me a second. It is. It's up to 12%. All right. Now, what has happened so far that we know about? We know that the scriptures in Ezekiel 38 said that the Lord would put hooks in Gog and Magog and turn them around. That's happened, right or wrong. So now, what are we looking for now? Here's what we're looking for. We're looking for France to fall. When I say fall, meaning France, according to the biblical prophecy, I could read it. I don't know if we're gonna go to it. A lot of y'all have read it many times. Again, I don't want to tie you up too long, but France, according to the prophecies, are going to be turned around. They're gonna side with the Arabs, and you're gonna see France for the first time. An Edomite nation is about to start to gravitate to the Arabs' point of view. They're going to turn against America. They're going to turn against NATO, which sounds crazy. But according to the Bible, that's what's going to happen. They're going to start to turn in the other direction, and they're going to create a problem for NATO. They're going to create a problem. That's bringing us another step closer. What else we looking for, y'all? We looking for we looking for Russia. The big boy is Russia entering into Saudi Arabia. When Russia enters, and they almost there. Make no mistake. Matter of fact, get that one for me, Q, where it said Yemen, and it quotes both of those. Get that for me. This is biblical prophecy, man. A beautiful thing. Here's what's coming next. You see what's happening. Who knows what's going on in Syria by hands? Anybody? Let me explain to you what's happening in Syria right now. Remember back in 2008, I think it was, or something like that, Obama went into Syria, tried to overthrow the country. Well, the Russians backed the Iranians. The Iranians pushed the Americans out. And that's why Assad, the ruler of Syria, got some run time to run the country a little longer. Well, now they tried to go back. They're trying to go back. They set up bases in Iraq to go back into Syria and try to take it over again. They want Syria because they got oil wells up there. And the Israelis want that land as well. Well, as they're beginning to go back, they're getting into a battles with the Iranians. You might have heard of it in the news. They're battling back and forth. So the Iranians are getting in the battle against America. You've heard a lot of talk also about America threatening Iran not to get into the Middle East battle. Bad news for them. They're going in the Middle East battle. Everybody's going into the Middle East battle. And as they go into this battle, what you're going to start to see is Russia take note. And Russia's going to say to themselves, according to the biblical prophecy, why should I sit back and let America destroy Iran, our ally that brings oil to us? No, we ain't going for that. And they're going to go down into Saudi Arabia, which sounds crazy that anybody would invade Saudi Arabia. You're going to see it happen. By the time we have the third part of this lecture, another year or two, who knows? You're going to see it happen. They're going to invade Saudi Arabia. And then it's on because, of course, the oil will start getting cut off. Where I'm going, Q?
Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates.
Because these countries don't have nuclear power. And their people live a village life, unwalled, easy to overthrow. But they got big backup. Like they could destroy Iran, but why won't they? Because Iran got Russia backing them up. They could destroy Saudi Arabia. Why won't they? Because America's backing them up. But as the Lord brings them closer to this war, they're not going to be able to stop. They're going to have to go in. Right now, they're going to have to go in Iran in a minute. If this keeps going in Syria, they're going to have to go into Iran, or they're going to have to do some serious damage to Iran. Read on.
Verse 12, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations,
right,
which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land.
They're going after these countries, these little areas, these little places. The Russians are working on the other side. What are the Russians doing? They freed up a whole lot of African countries from Europe's grip. Also, by the way, they cut off France. The Africans cut France off nuclear material, the uranium. They just straight cut them off. America turned around and bombed the pipeline. What was the name of that pipeline again? The North Stream pipeline, I think it is, or something like that. They bombed the hell out of it and shut that pipeline down. They in this battle. They in this thing jockeying into positions for this destruction to come down. Okay? You got more? Go ahead. And
Verse 13.
I'll take it from you. Go ahead.
Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof,
right,
shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil?
This is what they're going to do. They're going to come down and they're going to take a hell of a spoil. What's the main spoil? They saying silver and gold, but what's the real spoil? What's the spoil for today? Listen, the world is running off of U.S. currency. U.S. currency is running off of oil. You know what I mean? They call it the petrodollar. So in essence, the money in this world is oil. Who's got the oil? The Arabs. Who wants the oil? Esau. Why is it that way? Why didn't the Lord give European countries enough oil? America even got oil. Texas got oil. But nobody has oil like they have oil. Okay? And what? Keep an eye also on what you see going on in Taiwan. What's going on in Taiwan is absolutely beautiful. I don't know about y'all. I don't watch sports no more. I used to be into sports when I was younger, but I ain't into sports no more. But I turn on CNN, brother, and Fox News, and it's like watching the game. Brothers call me up. Did you hear? No, I ain't hear. What happened? Turn on CNN. Oh, we acting like we betting on the Mets and the Yankees or something. That's how we getting it in. And it's because there's going to be something. And listen, the other nations that shouldn't feel bad. You couldn't run the earth. You couldn't even run your own nation. You couldn't stop your sins. And now Christ will rule, and at least you'll get a kingdom at the end. Everybody should want Christ to rule, because in the end, everybody get a kingdom except Esau. He the only one don't get a cut of the pie. But you know what I mean? But everybody else do. You understand? And not only that, okay, if you know what we know, you would want Christ to rule. Here's why. Nothing is worse than going into slavery under somebody else. It is the worst thing. It's worse than anything that could ever happen to you. Why? You lose your identity. You lose your culture. You lose your language. You lose any power to defend yourself as a people. I asked this question on the Monday night show. They killed 10,000 Palestinians. The world is in an uproar. Could that happen to us? Hell yeah, it could happen to us. They could wake up tomorrow and find oil in Harlem and be like, you niggas got to go. The problem with us is we probably just go. At least the Palestinians like, hell no. You know what I mean? But that could happen to us, right or wrong. We don't know what's going to happen in this future, but we know the Lord is bringing us to the end of this empire. And we should cleave onto our Father in heaven, because every other nation got gods, but all their gods are fake. There ain't but one God, and he decided who he was going to love, the children of Israel. Now, the only question, damn right. I mean, he said it. I didn't say it. He said it. The only thing you got to figure out is who the children of Israel are. And we found out a long time ago, it ain't them white people living over there in Palestine right now. So somebody got something they got to answer to. But if you are those chosen people, well, shoot, you just hit the lottery. You hit the lottery for about 1 million years or more. Okay, where we going at? That was it on that? Okay, let me get a little bit more, y'all. We did the unwalled villages, right? All right. So let's get 2nd Ezra, 13th chapter. So their intention is to wipe these Palestinians off the land. But it's the Lord's intention to bring them into war. And like I said, I mentioned earlier, I stopped talking about, but I mentioned earlier, keep an eye on Taiwan. Once again, the Lord is ironic. Out of all the places in the world, the only place that they can make 6th generation microchips is in Taiwan. They're trying to build one in Arizona right now. They spent $500 million to build a facility in Arizona, right? They're not even a quarter of the way finished, and they already know it's not going to work. They already know, but they're going to spend the $500 million in an attempt to try to make it work. And they can't make it work because those microchips, you got to have a certain atmosphere. You got to have a certain atmosphere, and you got to have a certain skilled people. The Taiwanese thought about this 100 years ago and started working on it, and now they make those chips. 6th generation chips. A lot of people may not know that Russia, China, and America have jets. Believe this or not, they have jets that can fly 15,000 miles an hour. They go past you, it's like a blip. Like, whoof, what was that? And they got all kind of technology on it. They look like clouds, some of them. Go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and look up fast-moving vehicles inside the atmosphere. And you're going to see what looks like a UFO, but it's really Esau's weapons. And they move 15,000 miles an hour. But here's the thing. They got to have a microchip that can also operate something at 15,000 miles an hour. The only one that can make them are the Taiwanese. So that means whoever rules Taiwan rules the sky. So that's why they jockeying back and forth. That's why I think the Chinese president came over here, or he came over here, right? They came over here because they talking like, look, man, somebody got to back down. Both of them are building islands. The Japanese now got weapons. And once again, here's the beauty of it. Why did the Lord only give the Taiwanese the ability to build these chips? Why didn't he give them a few countries? Real simple. He wants them in the Third World War. He wants North Korea in it. He wants the Philippines in it. He wants all of them in it. And now, because of Taiwan, they all going in it. Because, damn right, they all going in it. So that's another one to keep an eye on. Okay? What I call for?
2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that was seen under him.
All the things trembled. You know what? I think I should go to the 30th one first. My apologies. Can you give me 13 and 30 first? I'll come back to that one. I pull this one up too because you've heard us talk many times about how the nations are going to be fighting. They're going to be at war. And while they're in the midst of this war, you heard us mention before how Christ is going to appear with the angels. And when they come into this atmosphere and start to take over, the nations are going to see him and in his power, and they're going to realize to themselves, if we don't get rid of him, it don't make sense of us fighting each other. We all going to be doomed. And they're going to stop fighting each other, and they're going to turn to fight Christ. Now, you got to be a man of God to believe what I'm saying. Like, you got to be somebody who has the ability to go beyond what you see in front of you. Every man and woman doesn't have that. Right. You got to ask yourself, do you have it? Because if you have it, then the Lord is opening up a door for you to see the future. Right. And you should seize on it. You should seize on it and really find out what's beyond this world we're in. First of all, if you got confidence in this world, you got to be dumb as hell. Like the angel told Ezra, can you add 1 cubit to your height? Can you tell me the weight of a flame? Can you search out the deep? The deep? And the white man, he trying to search that deep out. He went down at one point, he went down so deep that he found a lake in the bottom of the ocean. Y'all saw that? He found a lake down there, like a lake made of some kind of gas and fluid that's different from the water above it. So he came down to the edge of the lake, and it's a lake down there. He at the bottom of the water, there's a lake down there. They said when they saw that, they could not believe it. And of course, he can't go in the lake, because if you go down in the lake, you die. Because it's got gases or some nonsense, like some kind of off-world atmosphere in this water. So you can't even go down in it. So, of course, he'll spend the rest of his time trying to figure out what's down there now. He might get to the bottom of that and meet somebody. He meeting stuff all the time. It reminds you of it. You're right. You know what I'm saying? So he's getting ready to get caught up in that. So now's the time. Now's the time, man. Okay, you listen to Nostradamus. You listen to all the conspiracy theories. You listen to Miss Clarice. You listen to that old dancing preacher. Y'all know we listen to that fool. Benny Hinn was making $80 million a year off of black people. 80 million. I can't even get tithes. I gotta dance more, Muhammad. I ain't huck-bucking enough. $80 million, man, for lying to us. Then that's why the COVID was so righteous. COVID came along and exposed all them preachers. You got to be super dumb now to believe them preachers talking about they gonna heal you. You got to be super dumb, because when you needed them to heal you, when COVID was chasing you down, they was hiding themselves. Like, they didn't come out like, yeah, I got COVID covered. They was what's his name? The real the powerful one that locked up his church. I think he in Houston. Oh, he ran like a bitch. COVID came. He ran like a bitch. He was so scared COVID was going to stay in the church, he locked the church up. Then I think a hurricane or flood came. They tried to get in the church. He said, oh, hell no. Keep it locked. He didn't give a damn about him. So now is the time. Now that the Lord showed it to you, like, you got to start looking at spiritual things. You got to stop being, simple. You got to start looking at spiritual things and be like, yo, if the Lord is showing it, it must mean something. Hey, can we get some drinks moving to brothers and sisters in here? We're going to start the plates in a little bit. But if we can we bust out some drinks for them? I know y'all got to be a little thirsty by now. You know what I mean? I'm going to run a little bit longer. Listen, you came now. I'm going to talk a little bit. I usually talk to my, damn right, Most High Christ. I talking to Muhammad, give me the look. When his eyebrow go up like, you running long. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll get ready to ease up, all right? Y'all hang with me for a minute. Because I really, I want to give you the prophecies and all that. But in all plain English, what I really want to say is, yo, let's be faithful now. Let's really be the people now. Let's give up our sins. Let's break our, we come out of the horriblest lives. I've seen y'all, brothers, man. Some of you, I sit down and you tell me your story. I can't believe the person I'm talking to came out of that world. Some of you brothers came out of horrible places. And I'm talking to you, and it's like, nah, he lying. No, he telling the truth. And because you've transformed so much. So let's sisters as well. Some sisters went through horrors. Muhammad counseling some of these sisters. Some of these sisters around the country have been, through hell. And now we got here. Let's go on and be the people. Let's go on and do something for ourselves. Damn right. Damn right. Because real quick, slavery 101 is you wipe out their identity, you impoverish them, and then you give them entertainment while you rob everything that they have. That's slavery 101. So every silly, stupid thing that's going on in our world, they created it for that reason. So why don't we gravitate away from it and do something different and do something amazing, right or wrong? All right, let's keep going. I got a couple more for y'all. All right? Let's do it. All right. Yeah, let's do, we in 3 and 30, right?
Khan.
You're going to take it to 39.
Khan.
Read on.
2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 30.
And this is in the Apocrypha for those of you that may not know. Go ahead.
And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth.
So in other words, when Christ returns, now remember we read now the 2nd Ezra. This is the Old Testament. This is before anybody even knew about Christ. So they can't turn around, all of you Old Testament Israelites and so forth, that say Christ was some new creation. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry to tell you. Because they was talking about Christ during the time of the Maccabees, during the time of Ezra. They was already talking about Christ. It was always in our prophecies. Even when Christ came, they went to Christ and said, the prophecies say before the Savior come, Elijah must come first, right or wrong. And Christ had to even recognize that they were right on their prophecy, and he had to quantify what they were saying. And he turned around and said, that's true. But Elias has come, for he was John the Baptist. He had to qualify it. So them prophecies was already in place. Let's go a little further. Give me some more.
Verse 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another.
One shall undertake to fight against another. The wars are going to break out all over this earth. And as they break out, nations will be all entangled in one another. And then Christ's going to step out and show his power before the world. It's going to shock the world. People are going to drop dead from it. They're going to drop dead. And I don't know why. You see what the white man done built. Right. The white man got flying saucers he built. He building them out in Nevada, in the desert. Right. Flying saucers. You know what I mean? The stuff we read about in the scriptures with the lights and everything on. Anti-gravity and all that. He been robbing the earth and building and raising up his kingdom for hundreds of years now. Why? He had good slaves. He had excellent slaves. And they even said it in Germany, right? Before World War II, during World War II, when they put the white Jews in concentration camps, the Germans said, these people are near useless to us. They said the blacks, and by the way, they had 50,000 black men in them concentration camps that never get spoken and never mentioned in no Holocaust museum. Once again, man, we got to love ourselves on another level. You got to damn near fake. A lot of us, you know, we done been scathed by other blacks and Latino. But you're going to have to fake it till you make it. You're going to have to pretend you love them until you get to the point where you can. Because if you don't, your love going to go to somebody else. You understand? And that's damn right. Give it up, y'all. Your love going to go to somebody else who doesn't deserve your love. You understand? So we got to fight for that. Go ahead.
One city against another.
One city against another. And that's another great turning point in prophecy. Remember this scripture, because what you're about to see in these cities, are you going to see people going to war without their government approval? You see them protesting them Palestinians? And after a while, they're not going to listen to no governments. They're going to take it upon themselves to get revenge, to do all that. They already doing it. That's why Dublin's on fire right now. Ireland is burning right now because some Arab, according to them, decided he was mad over what happened with them Palestinians and stabbed 2 Edomites to death and almost killed a woman. They're going to stop listening to governments, and chaos and mayhem is going to start spilling out all over the earth. Go ahead.
One people against another.
Right. It's going to be racial war on that level. Come on.
One realm against another.
One realm against another. People that rule over different groups of people in different countries. Those realms are going to be fighting each other. White supremacist groups, Hebrew Israelites, Christians, radical Christians. You got a lot of white radical Christians that are big groups, and they're going to be warring with one another. Go ahead.
Verse 32.
Come on.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I shewed thee before. And then
right. The angel came and showed Ezra these signs that was about to happen. Go ahead.
And then shall my son be declared.
This is before Christ walked the earth. So then my son shall be declared. And it was deep how the angel that's talking to Ezra began to speak as the Most High in the first person.
Right.
If you read that scripture, he was describing it to Ezra. And when he got to this part, he started talking like the Most High in the first person, which was deep how he went there. Go ahead, Doc.
Whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
And because Ezra was one of many brothers who saw the vision of Christ long before he came. Daniel saw him. We know Daniel 10:5-6. Daniel saw Christ before he walked the earth in the body. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 33. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle that they have one against another.
Every man in their land. They're going to leave that battle and do what?
And leave the battle they have one against another.
Come on.
Verse 34. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together.
Innumerable multitude. Why? Because they're going to all be fighting and then realize, yo, we got to stop fighting. We got to fight this bigger enemy. Somebody give me something to drink as well. Something non-carbonated. All right. The water. Go ahead, please.
As thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
They're going to come together and say, let's take him out now. Let's overcome him by fighting. This is the third world's war, man. And it's coming quick. With what's going on over there, it's speeding up nice and quick. And listen, and no nation is going to be innocent in this. Every nation that did dirt to us, matter of fact, give me that. Let me finish this, and then give me that to every nation that have fought against Jerusalem. I think it's 14th chapter. Thank you so much, Jim. Read on out.
Verse 35. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion. Verse 36.
Meaning he's going to rule over us. He's going to stand at the top of us. Meaning we're going to wake up. We're going to know who he is. We're going to know what this means. We're going to know that this means this is everybody who didn't believe it in the past, they're going to know in that day, like Christ brought out in Matthew. In that day, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that he is the Lord. That's why they're going to do it. They ain't going to do it because they just going to, feel wonderful one day. They're going to do it because some big giant steel ship is sitting over their head. and they watching people die. You won't quickly get that. Matter of fact, keep on going, but give me the scripture where it said we shall be in our chambers, beholding the destruction. Go ahead, Op.
Verse 36. And Zion shall come.
And what?
And Zion shall come.
Read on.
And shall be shewed to all men.
And gonna be showed. You know what the world gonna find out? That you are the people of God. They're gonna find that out. They're gonna find out that the people of God exist. That the people of God was and the Lord, once again, one thing you should learn about the Lord is that the Lord is ironic. The people you think would never be the people of God, that's who the people of God will be. And the people you swear are the people of God, that's going to be Satan. That's going to be Satan. That's right. It's going to be, it's like the scripture said, your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay, meaning you taking something that's upright, you turning it upside down. You making it something it totally isn't, but then the Lord come and turn it back the right way. That's the world we've been in. We in the world of, you know, what's the name of that? Them rappers now, them female rappers. One called Red. Now, that's the opposite of what the Lord wants. Right. Turned upside down. We in the world of what kind of lifestyles for men? The LGBTQ, I prefer to call it faggots. Right. Y'all edit that out, Salakia. I'm a Benjamite, I'm sorry. We got a problem with homosexuality. We cannot stand it. You know what I'm saying? Shabaranks. Bombay, boy. We believe in chopping that nugget off. You out there doing what you ain't supposed to be doing. So my point is this, right? That spirit is opposite of the spirit of the Lord. You understand? The spirit of piety and righteousness and care. That's why what we do in these where all the brothers is feeding people all over the country. It's insane. We got ex-drug dealers feeding the homeless. The hell are we doing in here? We're turning things from upside down to right side up. They took our sons, man, and turned us, damn right, give it up. Like they took our sons and daughters and turned them into wicked, evil people. The Lord is turning it back the right way. And that's what we got to get inside of us. I got a couple more. I'm going to wrap it up, and then I'm going to open it up if anybody got questions, all right? Give me a couple more. What verse you at?
Verse 36. Being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands.
That's right.
Verse 37. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked intentions of those nations.
All those nations' wicked intentions shall be rebuked. The world is going to change. This was never supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. This was never supposed to be the status quo. All of it got to go and be started up and set up all over again. I'm going to stop you there, all right?
I don't care.
I want to take you to 14 and 12. What you holding? Zechariah 14 and 12. Because as they're fighting one another and try to turn to Christ, then they're going to go into nuclear war. And they're going to be obliterated. You think these deaths are something? The deaths coming by the hand of Christ is going to be more than it's ever been before. Damn right. Damn right. And listen, it's healthy if you understand reincarnation. Why do you even care? Why are we worried about it? Because the Lord already showed us in the scriptures that all flesh is reincarnated. Your spirit is coming back in the earth. All spirit is reincarnated. You coming back in the earth. All the nations are coming back in the earth. And they're going to be taught what they're supposed to do in the earth. The earth has always needed a government to rule it the right way. The problem is the Edomites tried to build a UN after World War I out of survival and create a one world government for themselves. But they don't understand. They became the tool to creating the path to the Third World War. Let me get a little bit more. What verse you in?
Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12.
Read.
And this shall be the plague wherewith the the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
This is a plague coming to them, man. This is a plague coming to this earth. What you see going on in the Middle East is a clear sign. And listen, it's mercy. It is mercy. It's mercy. If you went and ate the cookies that your father said not to eat, and you don't know if he saw you or not, you don't know if he checked the kitchen or the cookie jar or what. When you see him turn that corner and the belt's in his hand, it's game over. You already know. I'm done. And that's what we should know. But it's mercy also, because he could have waited till you went to bed and sleep that night.
Right.
Like my father used to do, and walk in the middle of the night and flip the whole bed over. You hit the floor, you wake up with a knot on your head before the beating even starts. You understand? You could wake up like that, but the mercy of him to show us this is happening, we owe him our allegiance. And in here, the UPK, we've given them that and will continue to give them that. And we should all be walking that way. I got one or maybe two more, maybe one or two more. Finish that.
Come on. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Nuclear war. Go ahead.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes.
That's right.
And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
That nuclear war will take place as they attempt to fight Christ. And then give me the chambers. Give me the chambers, and then I'm getting one more about the destruction of America in Revelation, and then I'll open up the floor. If y'all want to go there, or we'll wrap it up. Okay. Tell them where you at.
Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20. It reads, "Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers."
So what's going to happen is we're going to be on this earth. War is going to be everywhere. A lot of our people in their ignorance are going to join the wars. We, in our wisdom and righteousness and learning from the scriptures, we're going to be in total save Black and Latino and Native Indian people's lives. We're going to be totally in that mode. You think we're doing something with food now and something with the homeless now? Everybody else is about to abandon them. As this place gets more into a crisis, they're going to abandon them. But we're going to have an obligation from the Lord knowing we cannot abandon them. And so therefore, we're going to step it up. And we're going to get real into the world of Blacks, Latino, and Native Indians and start to fix their world, start to fix their lives. It's going to be our obligation. And while we're doing that, them angels going to roll up into this place. The nations are going to be done. And then you're going to see, just like in Star Trek, brother, Paul said, we shall be caught up in the air first. You understand? No, rather, the dead shall be caught up in the air first. I have it backward. They'll be caught up in the air first. You are living in the generation of miracles. You might as well get ready for it. You living in the days of prophecies. The Lord said, thy sons and daughters shall prophesy. You living in a time that has never, Christ said this, and I'm going to get up off it. Christ said, many have longed to see this day that you see. Right. That's what he told the 12. We in the wrap up of that day. He went up on them ships with the Lord. Now we at the point where he's about to come back based on this prophecy. What do we got to do? Totally lock into what we're doing now. Totally lock into feeding the homeless. Totally lock into building brotherhood, changing the spirits of brothers and sisters. We got to totally build ourselves as a people prepared for the rest of the 12 tribes to come into the body of the Lord for us to get ready to get out of here. Everything is going to go to hell, but the Lord is going to give us, like he's been giving us, the path on what we're supposed to do to make sure that we get the Lord's people to him like he desires. That's where our focus is. Damn right. Damn right. What you holding? Where you at?
Isaiah 26 and 20.
Okay, finish that.
Come. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed.
Because that indignation, according to the scriptures, as you know, is for 1 hour. For 1 hour, that indignation is going to take place. We're going to sit up in those ships, brother, trembling. Scripture, another part of that scripture said we're going to be trembling. Right. We're going to be trembling because, you know, it's going to be like an abduction. He's sitting up in the air like, what the hell is this? The Lord going to have to calm your spirit for you to even deal with it. This is crazy talk right here. But it's in them scriptures. And all of it came to pass. Right. Russia turned around. The Middle East is going into war. Why would I doubt that the rest of it won't happen? Right. It's going to happen. Right. Like you think that God came and got you out the ghetto and poverty and the madness you was in just, you know, to create the boys club? No. He raised you up to be a prophet in the last days to do something amazing. Okay? You got more? That's it? One more scripture, y'all. I'm done. One more. Damn right. One more and I'm done. Revelation 18:4.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
That you receive not of her plagues. Now's the time for us to separate from this world. That we don't be a part of these plagues. You've done a good thing by cleaving on to the truth. Now let's totally separate and get every brother and sister like the mad dash is on out of this world. Go ahead.
Verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
And God have remembered her iniquities. Why is war breaking out in the Middle East? Because the Lord remembered her wickedness. The Lord remembered the evil that was done to us in this kingdom, man. Hey, man, I want to thank y'all for being patient with me, man. Let me run all this down. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Once again, big shout out to our host, Captain TITHES. Please stand up for a second. You understand? Recognize that bad boy right there and his whole crew. Thank you, sisters, for everything y'all doing. All the brothers, officers, captains. Definitely the big seven right here. The generals in the building. General Muhammad, General Maka'ala, General Shalmar, General Kubala Moth, man. These brothers have forged this truth for many, many years in the work of the Most High. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Shalom.
That was all that mattered. If I can get everybody's attention, we're about to start lining up for the brunch. The sisters have prepared some amazing food for everybody. We're going to do it in rank order. I guess the generals are okay. Who's going to go first, sir, if I may? Who's going to go first? So we're going to line them up, sir? All right, so we're going to start with the generals. Okay, that's what I was asking. Who's going to get in line first, if I may? Starting with the 13,000s, you can go ahead and proceed to the line, and we're going to do it in order. Starting with the 13,000s. Other than that, that's it. Everybody enjoy yourselves and have a good time.